Well, it's Friday the 11th of December. In just 3 days, the Sagittarius new moon solar eclipse will be a point of new creation. Shed the last of your old habits and behaviours, as all possibilities are on the table as we await the grand mutation. This is episode 2049 of 301 Permanently Moved to Online, a personal podcast 301 seconds in length, written, recorded and edited by me, at the JMO. 49 weekly episodes. Yikes. You know, back in the summer, I decided I'd aim for 50 episodes in total this year. A nice round number. But now we're one episode away, it's dawning on me that 50 weeks in a row really is yikes. Anyways, we'll close out the year next week, and I'll be back in the new year. I thought this week we'd talk about the shows that I didn't make this year. At the bottom of the Google Doc that I'm typing in right now are 14 ideas for shows. 4 of them got made, most didn't. The ones that did were Going Soapless, Outside of London, the first episode of this year, The 10th Man, and the Warhammer 40,000 episode. So what didn't I make? I didn't make an episode about the TV show I Love Lucy. I wanted to speak about Lucille Ball's early career and the radio show that preceded the TV show, My Favourite Husband. I wanted to talk about Lucille Ball's communism and her entanglements with the House Committee on Un-American Activities, the feminism in her comedy, the creative control that she had over the show with her then husband, Desi Arnaz. I wanted to tell you about how influential the show was. In the early 1950s, 71% of all households with a television watched the show. It also literally invented the sitcom. Its camera setup invented by the cinematographer Carl Freund, who shot Metropolis, 1927, and Dracula, 1931. Every 3-camera sitcom, including shows like Third Rock from the Sun, Friends, Frasier, Cheers, Big Bang Theory, etc., owes their format to I Love Lucy. They all share DNA with that show. They also share a lot of similar jokes. Even if you see the setup coming a mile away, the situations are always funnier in I Love Lucy because they were the first time that they'd ever been done. I didn't make a show about the internet's first ever wiki, the WikiWeb. All other wikis, including Wikipedia, are descended from this one site and its community. It's full of weird and wonderful anecdotes and thoughts about strange fringe topics. You can still find the site at wiki.c2.com. I didn't make a very blunt episode about the ongoing culture wars. I didn't make an episode about organising. I wanted to say how strange it is that people think doing things for free are the only way of keeping things ideologically pure. I wanted to talk about the history of Jews paying organisations and the newsletter boom of the 1930s. I keep meaning to make a show about story dwelling. I've used the term in this show before, in talks and on my blog. The last time I brought it up was in episode 2006 on clock time versus plot time. The recent Rune Soup Swapcast with Catherine Frink of the Heart is a Cauldron podcast on Mythic Time was very inspirational. I'm sure I'll get to this subject eventually. I didn't make a show on the defence of elitism, about people on the internet not knowing the story of Sir Gawain and the Green Knight, and that spoilers can't possibly exist for a story/poem from the 14th century. I didn't make a show addressing people who object to the word punk in solar punk, but I did sort of talk about this during my chat with Matt and Holly on Interdependence FM, so maybe I don't need to. I wanted to make a show about LinkedIn being a super toxic online space, even a dangerous one. The endless hustle porn and productivity grind benefits no one. This was particularly bad during the first lockdown. I didn't make a show titled Toward a Cultural Theory of Kanye. The note I have about this episode still makes me laugh. Concerning his most recent album, it reads, Kanye is synergizing the most popular brand in the West, Christianity, with the wider Yeezy growth offer. And finally, I have a whole show, practically written, on the history of the traditional folk song, the Dilly Song, or Green Grow the Rush's O, as it's known in Ireland and America. A traditional counting song. They are very, very old as forms of cultural transmission go. You might think 10 Green Bottles is a silly song you sing on the coach trip as a kid, but you're actually participating in a form with a very long lineage. The Dilly Song, in its 12-stanza version, has lyrics interwoven with the Apostles and the biblical story. The 12 Days of Christmas also has its origins here. Older versions of the Dilly Song are full of pre-Christian imagery, including the Pleiades and the Hyades star clusters. I also believe I found a prayer in an old cuneiform tablet that fits the same shape as the Dilly Song, but I'm not 100% convinced, which is why I didn't make the episode. I need to do some more research before I make that claim out loud. So there you have it, an overview of the shows that didn't get made in 2020. 10 ideas not explored or undertaken. If you think you may have enjoyed these shows I didn't make, please do consider supporting the work I did at thejmo.net/support.